Hello there, welcome back to the YouTube channel. Please hit the subscribe button and help me out get my numbers up here. And, at the end of the video, hit the like button. Or, if you want to, hit the dislike button. But please, 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 if you hit the dislike button, please leave me a comment and tell me why you don't like the video so I can try and make them better in the future. Anyway, we are going back to March of the Machine today. And after the from my point of view, being a massive Commander fan, the disappointing announcement that the March of the Machines Commander decks aren't coming to MTGO anytime soon, I've had to put aside some of the cards I was going to look at from the Commander decks specifically and go back to looking at the main set this week. So this is what we're doing, and we're kicking off today with this one. Zimone and Dina, black, a green and a blue for a 3/4 legendary human dryad. And it has, whenever you draw your second card each turn, target opponent loses 2 life and you gain 2 life. And then you can tap it, sacrifice another creature, draw a card. You may put a land card from your hand onto the battlefield, tapped, and if you control 8 or more lands, repeat this process once. 2 very interesting abilities. And it took me a long time to build this deck, I'm not going to argue it. I've been thinking about it quite a lot. And I really decided that the second ability, I don't really want to be sacking off creatures, but I like the idea of being able to draw 2 cards a turn. In my turn, my opponent's turns, everyone else's turns. So I went down that road with this deck, and this is what the deck looks like. What I will say, however, though, is that Daybreak Games have uploaded all the MTGO, March of the Machines cards to MTGO early. Let me get the terminology right. So therefore, please ignore the funny border on the video over here, because obviously I haven't got it in my collection yet as I'm recording this, but we can see the pictures, so it makes life a lot easier for me. Anyway, back to the deck tech itself. Lands, as you can imagine, every blue, black and green land you can think of. There's no real surprises here, apart from possibly Morocco, Centre of the Sea, because, we do want to be drawing cards. And this is one of the ways we've got of maybe drawing an extra card if we need to each turn, so bear that in mind. Right, and this turns up in tomorrow's deck tech as well, but tomorrow's one's more fun. So that aside, ramp, the usual suspects in the suspend cards. Mana Crypt here, again, drop it out if you're building it in real life. Soul Ring, Arcane Signet, and then one of each of the talismans of the respective colour pairing. They're all in, and I've also chucked in Skyclave Relic because I wanted to. And that's basically what it boils down to. But what I want to be doing is making sure I can draw 2 cards each turn as far as possible. And we have a few ways of doing that, and we have ways of protecting things. So, the obvious way of doing it in someone else's turn is to cast Brainstorm, because you do draw 3, which will trigger Zimone and Dina. Okay, put 2 back on top of your library, but you can manipulate the top of your library then. So, can't complain too much. We have a little bit, Elective Immortality is also here for obvious reasons. We're going to need to cycle things back into our deck as we go along. And then we've got ways of doing things. Cyclonic Rift is to control the board, along with Damnation, that's down here. I'm not going to talk about them, you all know what they do. But that's the only board control I've really got. I figured because we are hopefully going to be drawing so many cards, Anonymous Seas makes perfect sense in this deck, and get some 8/8 Krakens to help us block. Cameo of the Crescent Moon just makes sure that, yes, we don't get the original draw. I'm aware of that. And our opponents all get a draw before we do, which possibly means Cammy dies before it gets back to our turn. But it does mean, this, along with the traditional Howling Mine, means we will be drawing 2 cards each turn if we can keep one in play, which is fine by me. Mana Drain, a little bit of control. Canker Bloom. I've put Canker Bloom in for a reason. Just note the power of 3 on this for now. But, having the ability to put this into play and blow something up that's an artifact or enchantment's annoying is great. It's not much proliferation in this deck, so the third ability is not going to get used that much unless we really do need to hit, an 8th counter on Anonymous Seas here to get a good blocker. Sylvan Library. It's the first time I've played Sylvan Library, a deck, I think, for quite a while. But, at the beginning of your draw step, you may draw 2 additional cards. You can draw them, put them back on top of your library, trigger Zimone and Dina, and do the whole let's shock you and gain 2. So, a little bit of background. And If there was ever a home for Strionic Resonator, it is this deck. We're going to be there's quite a few triggered abilities we can copy, and therefore it made perfect sense to me to have this in the deck. So whenever, wherever, or at. So we'll get them copied. Swiftfoot Boots to protect Zimone mainly, but there's a couple of other creatures we may want to protect with Swiftfoot Boots, so we'll get to them shortly. As Foretold gives us a cheap way of playing our cards. And we just keep ramping it up again. It is possible it's another target for the proliferation with the counters on it, but we'll see. Sphinx's tutelage is kind of a minor win condition. Obviously, we're going to be drawing hopefully a lot of cards with this deck, and therefore, hopefully, we get our opponents to mill themselves out quite quickly. Also, worst comes to worst, we can pay 6 mana, it gives us our second draw. Yes, we have to discard it, but it's another 2 damage potentially. So, from my point of view, it worked. Likewise, Verity Circle. We've got to pay 10 mana to draw a card, basically. Tap, and hope we've got 2 creatures without flying. But if you get 20 mana in play, I know 20 mana is pushing it before anyone says anything. I realise that, but it's another way of drawing 2 cards each turn if need be. Dictator Crewfix, just so we can flash it in at the beginning before our turn starts, and we get the draw before everyone else does. A few more 3-power creatures help to control the board. Demon's Disciple, Fleshbag Marauder, Merciless Executioner. They all do the same thing. Come into play, everyone sacks a creature. 9 times out of 10, we sack these off. But Elemental Bond is the reason here. This is why all the majority of creatures in this deck have power 3 or more. So that whenever we get one into play, we draw a card, which means, we're playing cards on our turn. We get to do the second draw, get the whole lovely little bit of life gain even. Rites of Flourishing does the draw and the extra land drops. Troll Ascetic, it's just hexproof. It's got Regenerate, and it's 3-power creature, so it triggers the Elemental. Tribute to the World Tree is one of the new cards that I've put in from March of the Machine. As you can see, this card's not legal in your collection. It's not legal, but it is legal eventually. Whenever a creature enters the battlefield under your control, draw a card if its power is 3 or greater. That's great. Otherwise, put 2 +1/+1 counter on it. So, gives another way of drawing cards. Likewise, Griswold, the Dread Sower. This is quite a nice little thing here, because our plants, or our little plant creature we get, if we've got the World Tree in play, comes in as a 3/3. Makes big plants. Not going to complain. Endrick, Spymaster Grotesque, gives away a drawing some extra cards we need to with damage we control. Zero, we all know what it does. Likewise, Tatiova, Steward of Ties. When a land enters the battlefield under control, if you control 7 or more lands, up to 1 target land becomes a 3/3 elemental creature with haste and flying, because playing creatures we control have flying. Skyclave I've mentioned. Wheel or Deal is just a way of making sure that we can get them to discard their hands and shuffle things back in again. It's not great because we don't get the draw 7 effect, obviously, but we do get to draw an extra card, so yeah. And it's any number of target opponents each, so you can choose 0 and pay 4 mana to draw a card if need be, just to get the last trigger you need for this. Bident Thassa, combat damage to draw a card, and creatures your opponents control attack this turn if able. And then we've got one of the gods. Kefnet's in. Reveal the first card you draw each turn. As you draw it, whenever you reveal an instant or sorcery card this way, copy it. Now, we only have a few instants of sorceries, but at the end of the day, it's quite a good way of looking and seeing what we've got on top of our library. Teferi is Aegis Insight. If you draw a card except for the first one you draw in each of your draw steps, draw 2 cards instead. So with this in play and the Verity Circle, we can pay 5 mana to draw 2. Shock, Drain, whatever you want to call it. Damnation I said about. Ripjaw Raptor. Another way of drawing an extra card if we need it to. Nemanta Primeval Warden's also here. Creature an opponent would die. Exile it, get a sapling. Yep, okay. Horizon Chimera, whenever we draw a card, gain a life. That's quite nice. And it's got 3 powers with Elemental Bond. This comes into play, it triggers itself. And Kaidil, Chosen of Crifex. Yep, decided to go with this. We're going to be drawing a lot of cards, might as well get some extra mana. Lift the form engine's also here. We can copy target instance small suits we control, or triggered or activated abilities, or copy target permanent spell you control. Get an extra copy of it. Having two elemental bonds in play is quite nice sometimes, to be fair. Defiler of Dreams. Cast a blue spell, draw a card. Another way of drawing cards. Most of the stuff we've got this instant would be drawing in the played on our opponent's turn, so it gives us another way of doing that. And if Ithmari, Desert of Doom, just want to play it, so I haven't had it in game in a deck for a while. But it's another way of drawing cards if we need it to. And then we've got Temporal Manipulation. We've got a lot of time walk effects, because obviously we want to be taking the extra turns to draw the extra cards to do all the damage that we can do. So Temporal Manipulation is the first one. I'll just go through the other ones quickly. We have got Epiphany, Nexus of Fate, Temporal Mastery, and Khan's Temporal Sundering as well. It seems we might as well have these since we are playing Commander. So they're all here. You could play Time Warp, all the rest of them, but they're the ones I own on MTGO, so it's probably worth having them in. Tevishsat, Doom of Fools is also here. It's quite nice now. Sacrifice another creature or planeswalker. If you do, draw 2 cards, then draw another card with the sacrifice creature. A sacrifice permanent was a commander. That's cool. It works very well with Zimone, because it does give us a way of getting little tokens, so we don't mind sacrificing off to Zimone. But at the end of the day, it's make +2, make some black thrall tokens, +1, sacrifice one of them next turn. Hopefully we'll just keep looping the turns. Likewise, Defiler of Vigors here. Whenever you cast a green permanent spell, you get to put some +1/+1 counters on each creature you control. That's lovely. Tatiova, the other version, is also here. Landfall, draw a card. When you play a land, gain a life. Shark Typhoon. We've got quite a few non-creature spells, so we might as well have some sharks in here, just so we've got a way of winning the game with some combat damage. Consecrated Sphinx. Whenever an opponent draws a card, you may draw 2 cards. Hello. So yeah, we'll just draw 2 in their upkeep each turn and shoot them. But maybe whenever they cast a spell, we mill them out this way, because they will be drawing 7. Force Fruition is one of those cards that I really enjoy seeing occasionally. Don't like playing against it, so I figured this might be a deck to try it out and see if it works. Kadoma is also here. Just so we can make sure we get some extra permanents and play really quickly and gets around some of our mana costing we've got. I've gone through all the extra turn spells. The last 2 cards. Zendikar Resurgent. It's just really mana ramp for us, that's why it's here. But occasionally we'll be casting creature spells and get to draw a card off that, which helps. And then Nyx Bloom Ancient, because if we're going to ramp the mana, let's just ramp it with Nyx Bloom. And hopefully that will be it. But anyway, that is my personal take on Zimone and Dina. I hope that made sense to you all. I'll be playing this as soon as I can pick up a Zimone and Dina on MTGO, which will hopefully be the Thursday of this week as I'm recording this video. I'll be playing this deck as fast as possible, but in the meantime, let me know down below what you think I've missed out. This is my take on it. Obviously, you can build it so it's more generic, so you get to do the sacrifice side of it, but I've really tried to go for that. Let's draw the extra cards and do it that way. So I hope you've enjoyed it. Like I say, let me know in the comments down below, and I really hit the sub button. So take care, and hopefully I'll see you soon in the next video. See ya. Bye.